Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping into a part of the Bible that's just packed with guidance for real life. We're talking about the five poetic and wisdom books, a collection that tackles some of the biggest, messiest, and most beautiful questions we all face.
I mean, really, this is the question, isn't it? When things get tough, when you're confused, or even just dealing with the daily grind, where do you actually turn for wisdom that lasts? It's something every single one of us goes through.
Well, believe it or not, there's a set of 5 ancient books that give us a kind of roadmap for this exact journey. We're talking about Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon. Together, they offer this incredible guide to the human experience.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start in the toughest place, wrestling with suffering. Then we'll explore the language of our emotions, get super practical with skills for daily life, tackle the huge questions about meaning and love, and then we'll wrap it all up.
Okay, so let's be clear. This isn't just a random list of books. You should really think of this as a journey. Each one gives us a totally unique angle, building on the last, to help us figure out what it truly means to live a wise and good life. And our journey starts in a pretty intense place.
Let's just dive right into the deep end, shall we? Have you ever just looked around and wondered, why do bad things happen to good people? That is the exact question the book of Job throws us into, right into the fire.
The book itself is this incredible poetic drama. It's about a guy named Job, who is described as a really righteous man. And then, bam, in one disaster after another, he loses everything. His money, his kids, his health, everything is gone. And this is what's so wild. Job's initial reaction, after losing it all, isn't to curse God, it's to worship. I mean, that one response just sets the stage for this incredibly deep dive into a faith that refuses to fit into our neat little boxes.
Now, the main drama really kicks in when Job's friends show up. They try to help, but they offer these simple, almost shallow answers. They're convinced he must have done something wrong to deserve all this. But the book pushes back hard against that, forcing us to see the difference between their easy formulas and the reality of God's wisdom, which is good for sure, but way beyond what we can always figure out.
And this quote, this is the climax. When God finally speaks, he doesn't give Job a neat little explanation. Instead, he asks these massive, humbling questions that just reveal how tiny our human perspective really is. The point isn't that we need all the answers, but that we can trust the one who has them. Okay, so after wrestling with those huge, tough questions in Job, where do we go with all the raw emotion that comes with life? Well, that leads us straight to the Psalms, which is basically a divinely inspired language for our souls.
You can think of the Psalms as this spirit-breathed hymn book. And it is not just for the good days. It gives us words for our deepest grief in the laments, our greatest joys in the praises, and even our moments of regret and repentance. It literally covers the whole spectrum of what it feels like to be human.
I mean, this is probably one of the most famous lines ever written, and for good reason. It's this beautiful picture of trust, the idea of a shepherd taking care of his sheep. It's such a powerful metaphor for how God guides and provides for us. It's a song of pure confidence and peace. But then you have verses like this. This shows you the other side. The Psalms also give us words for when we mess up, big time. This is a raw, honest prayer for forgiveness, for a fresh start. It just goes to show how the Psalms meet us wherever we are, in the good times and the bad.
So we've wrestled with suffering in Job, and we've learned to be emotionally honest with the Psalms. Now we get practical. We turn to Proverbs, which is like the ultimate toolkit for our wisdom journey. This is where wisdom gets its hands dirty.
Proverbs is basically a collection of short, punchy, memorable sayings that are meant for the real world. This isn't abstract philosophy. This is about developing the skill of godly living. It gives advice on everything from money and friendship to how we speak to each other. And let me tell you, that wisdom is just as relevant for a Twitter argument as it was for an ancient marketplace.
So what's the path? Proverbs lays it out pretty clearly. Step 1. It all starts with a deep respect and awe for God, what the book calls the fear of the Lord. From that foundation, you learn to trust Him. And that trust is what gives you the strength to do step 3. Guard your heart, because that's where everything else in your life flows from.
All right, now we come to our last 2 books in this collection, Ecclesiastes and the Song of Solomon. And these 2 zoom out to tackle 2 of life's biggest pursuits, the search for meaning and the celebration of love.
Ecclesiastes kicks off with this pretty shocking, almost cynical statement. The author, who calls himself the preacher, goes looking for meaning in everything under the sun.
In work, in parties, in being smart. And his conclusion? It's all empty. It's like trying to catch the wind.
But the book doesn't leave us there. Here's the solution it offers. A life that's only lived under the sun, focused on the stuff of this world, is always going to feel meaningless. Real, lasting meaning is only found when you shift your perspective, when you start living your life before the Creator, by fearing God and following His ways.
And talk about a change of pace. From that intense search for meaning, we pivot to a beautiful, passionate celebration of one of life's greatest gifts, love. The Song of Solomon is this amazing poem that just sings about the goodness and joy of marital love as God designed it.
This image right here just captures it all. The book paints this picture of covenant love as this unstoppable, unquenchable force. And for many people through history, it's also been seen as a beautiful picture of God's passionate, faithful love for His people.
So when you put it all together, what do you get? You get this amazing, well-rounded guide to life. Job teaches us to trust God when we suffer. Psalms teaches us to pray honestly. Proverbs gives us the skills to live well. Ecclesiastes points us to our true meaning, and the Song of Solomon celebrates the gift of love.
So to make this really practical, here's your Wisdom Starter Kit. Just one key verse from each book. Think about what it would be like to have these in your back pocket. A verse for when you're hurting, one for when you need comfort, one for guidance, one for purpose, and one to remind you of the power of true love.
And that leads us to the final question, which is really just for you. After this whole journey, from Job's incredible resilience all the way to this beautiful celebration of love, which piece of wisdom are you going to carry with you today?